Recording in progress.
Okay, good afternoon. Call to order the Wednesday, September 10th, 2025 meeting of the Plastic Reduction Bylaw Task Force. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. First on our agenda, current status of the regulation. For those who may not have been in attendance last night or didn't see it, we made a presentation last night to our appointing authority, the Select Board. We went over with the board our process, did, how we did it, and then our recommendation was the taking the bylaw that we've done as a proposed health regulation and advancing it in that fashion in the hopes that the board approves it on Monday, the 15th, which could then lead to a town meeting vote at the fall town meeting for a rescission of the existing general bylaw. Pleased to report that that was, although no formal vote was taken because it wasn't scheduled for a formal vote, I think it was pretty clear that all 5 of the select board members gave their positive approval of the process, and I think we can take it as a positive step to go forward and proceed at the Board of Health. I don't think anybody started any differently, but I think that that's the path that we're on now, is to proceed Monday evening, the 15th, at the Board of Health. There are 2 things I would like to bring up about the regulation. Do you have a draft here? We made a couple of small typographical changes, but let's talk about them. They're on page 4. You'll see the first one. At the top of the page in red there, you'll see we just moved the grammatical to include the or after number 3 versus number 2. And then we did some formatting on page 5. And then lastly, on page 6, we had to get the correct letter D as in dog. So we had A, B, C, and D. That, I believe, constitutes now the final version to present on Monday evening with those small changes. And so that is it. Maybe, Barry, I'll ask you a little bit for Monday night. How does this happen? So I know it's been posted, I know it's been advertised, it's a public hearing, so they can take input from the public. Are they, from your experience, do they anticipate that we go and make a presentation, or how does this work Monday?
Pretty much the same thing as we did prior and what we did last night. They know that it's coming on, what they want, what they have, so the same presentation we've done the last two board meetings would be sufficient. We have done all the proper legwork for the open meeting laws of posting it and everything, so they will be ready to make a vote on it Monday night.
Okay. As of now, have you received any comments, feedback, written material? Sometimes before meetings, people have the right to submit materials in advance, and I don't know if anyone submitted that. I guess I would ask if anybody does.
Yeah.
Maybe circulate it around to all of us so we can see what folks may say in advance.
Riley, she's my assistant, in the health office. Have we gotten any feedback from anything like that? No, so, which is good. No news is good news.
I don't disagree, but it's better to know if there's something good or bad.
If we get anything, I will 100% get it out to the board. I don't like surprises.
Neither do I.
And Barry, I'll send you and Riley the newest version with
Yes,
the
ma'am.
corrections.
Without the red lines and just the clean version. Thank you.
Exactly, yep.
Anyone else have any comments who may have seen last night or
I just have one question, a point of clarification about the start date, the implementation date for the bylaw, because I thought I heard there was a date of April or something that was mentioned in the context of that.
I think the question that was posed was, why did we pick 1/1/26? And the response, if I remember, one was to be kind of consistent with the general bylaw starts at that point, and it's a good time period to start. The other was, we don't want to be accused of like kicking the can down the road, as it were. You know, there were some folks at town meeting that thought that this filibuster was just going to lead to nothing happening. And we wanted to be clear that we were staying on track with that. And then the concern was, in the middle of the winter, is that enough time for people to come up to speed? And I think there's, 6 months now from, let's call it next Monday to probably April, when things start to spin up, and that's where the April reference came, that we can get our educational materials and our message out there, and that's a lot of time for people to have to figure out what's going on. So I still stand behind the 1/1 date. But that's where it came up last night, was why did we pick that? Why not pick something in the spring? And I think there would be some pushback of thinking that we were just delaying.
Okay, gotcha.
And the 1/1 will give my staff and myself enough time to, like Jamie said, get educational support out there to the establishments before they start ramping up. And they start ramping up before you think, and they start thinking about it in February, March and stuff, so.
Okay, great.
But all in all, I think it went well.
I watched last night. I thought it was well done. You did a great job.
Thanks. Well, we all did a good job. I mean, this was the product of what everybody did here. I mean, this is, so this is good. That's the current status, so let's hope all things go well Monday night. So I'll be there. Anyone else, certainly are welcome there, show of support.
I'll be there.
I'll be
At
there.
5.
Good to know. Sure.
I wondered, we did discuss last night about the web presence for dissemination of information and transparency. When would we want to pull the trigger on that?
So, soon, because what we're gonna do next is move on to our draft messaging. In the packet there, you can see, if you have a packet, Liz.
I do.
So, we did coordinate with, Amy at the chamber,
On the back page.
back page.
I did not send this out, we just finished it, so
Okay.
people
So-
may want to take a time.
If everyone wants to take the minute to just kind of read those paragraphs there, and then we can talk about that.
I like it. After the last paragraph, I think we should maybe list where they can get their information from, what social media sites, the chamber, the Board of Health, the town of Yarmouth, Facebook, social media pages. So somewhere on there, we can work with the IT department and see what all they have for their social media.
Yeah, so we thought, Amy and I drafted this morning, so our thought was now is that we would hand this off to Lori Sullivan and her team and let them take it from there. They have already all of the meeting minutes, the
Okay.
agendas, the videos of every meeting, the Stop and Shop handouts were provided so that people can see the plastic materials that we've been referencing through this process. So any support material has already been provided to the IT department.
Perfect.
The date, it
Yeah,
says it's April 2023.
Perfect,
Yeah.
thank you.
I might make a comment that I think at the last paragraph, to protect our beautiful environment, but I think we really want to focus on health as well. Public health is really the initiative that is driving this, so I'd like to see that added.
Sure.
I agree with that.
Okay.
So it would read, together to protect public health and our beautiful environment.
Sure.
Does that work?
That's fine.
Okay.
Do we have to say environment or beautiful community?
I think it is environment related because one of the issues we've discussed is the constant wash up of plastics on our shores. So it is environmentally related, but I think it's primarily a public health menace.
Okay. Yeah, so I think to Mary's point is everything gets turned over and the staff. And so what is everyone's collective thoughts of going live on this? Do you want to upload and go live now? Do you want to wait till next Tuesday morning after the Board of Health?
Well, we have to post it for 29 days, 30 days before it can actually go into effect. That gives people to appeal it. So
So I
I
really
would
don't-
say October 15th.
I wasn't thinking that. You mean to start this campaign?
Yeah, to let them know, just in case.
Should we put it out that we have at least submitted a draft to the Board of Health?
We
So
could,
then we're more transparent with the,
yeah. We
I
could.
would like to see that. I don't want people to be surprised. The more we can show ongoing effort, the better off we'll be.
Is there going to be like a section on the town website? That's what we're going live about?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think the sooner the better. I also think, and maybe this is already something that would be built in, but having like an FAQ section that we can add to, I think people are
Good idea.
just gonna assume it's a ban, and it's not. So that could be the first question. Is this a ban on all plastics? No.
It's a reduction.
so Amy and I started to work on that because we did have that discussion at one of our prior meetings, but we didn't know if that was the chamber's role to do that or not. So we're happy to work with members of this committee with maybe Lori Sullivan to create the FAQs. We thought it would be good if there was just, simple answers. that-
Mark?
My recommendation would be, I mean, we're teeing this up for the Board of Health, right? So anything that we prepare from a messaging point of view, the principal messenger is going to be the Board of Health and the Health Department. So anything that we do from this point going forward should be in the form of a draft. These are suggestions, these are thoughts, but ultimately, the source has got to be them. So I think it's important to prepare a draft, prepare suggestions, and then I think it's incumbent on letting the Board of Health take their action, take ownership of this, and then provide whatever assistance and help they might like from us. But again, we should not be getting too far out ahead of the Board of Health and the Health Department.
Yep.
I think if we just provide all of these materials to the communications folks in the town, that's their job, with a green light that says, when you're ready, go ahead. And
Yeah.
then leave it in the hands of the health board after that, once it's a final product.
But again, the communications director, the communications department should be taking their direction from whoever the owner is of the rules and regulations. We've made recommendations, we've made a proposal. Next week is when ultimately they take action. So I think anything that we propose right now is just suggestions for them. And I think any decision about marketing, I mean, if the Board of Health is looking for us to help get the word out and spread the word, that's one thing. But I think you have to be somewhat careful about ownership of the messaging when this really, after next week, it's not really going to be ours. It's going to be theirs. And we can give suggestions to them, but they should be the ones, and the Health Department should be the ones communicating directly with the communications folks and handling that. That's what I would suggest. Otherwise, we're making it very confusing.
I mean, who's responsible for drafting the article of rescission for the current bylaw? Is that something that we need to do, or who's going to actually do that?
I think town council essentially already drafted it when we asked for the opinion, and the opinion came back and said that it could be as a health regulation, and then in that same opinion, drafted what is essentially a one-sentence line item article that authorizes the rescission of that general bylaw previously passed. So I think it's the select board that puts it on the warrant. Town council, I think, has already given them the draft of what to write.
The warrant is the select board's warrant, all right? We take ownership of the warrant. We have a sort of a draft lineup of articles. This is, I think, there's a spot for this one. So, and then ultimately, once we have a draft that's approved by the board, then town council customarily will work with us to make sure that the final wording, before anything goes to the printer, is in order, proper legal order. And so that's sort of the process that we will follow going forward. So council will be involved. Council will make sure that the wording is appropriate and it carries the proper legal effect. And so that ultimately what's in the final warrant, the article that's in the final warrant will be properly prepared and laid out for the voters at town meeting.
Now, will the warrant be published prior to the timeline we just discussed to get the communications piece going? So in other words, if somebody were to read the warrant on October 15th and this thing hasn't been issued yet, is there going to be some confusion?
Town meeting is well into November, as you're aware. Was it the 19th? Roughly that date. So our warrants, the final warrant doesn't necessarily come out until maybe a couple of weeks before
okay.
that, all right? But you don't want to wait until then.
Right.
To
Gosh, no.
work with the health department on the messaging. You know, messaging should be coming out, I think, after the Board of Health acts.
I have one comment, Jamie. Having reviewed the initiative, I have one comment that I don't have the language for, but I would prefer to see that it's looking very much like a reduction initiative, which is what it is, but I would love to see it towards an eventual elimination in our environment of these dangerous plastics. We haven't laid out in here that we are trying to do what we were asked to do unanimously in that vote, which is ban plastics. We'd love to be able to. It's not practical, but that's where we want to go. If there were some language, do you understand what I'm saying, Barry?
I do.
That just signals that this is a process. This isn't the final step. This is the beginning of a process that frankly, the entire world is taking on, that will hopefully lead to the elimination of these dangerous plastics in our environment and endangering our health. I can try to work on something, but does that make sense, Mary, to you too? That it's not, this leaves it very much as it's just the beginning of a step. I'd like to have it be a beginning of a step that's leading somewhere, if it could.
And again, to Mark's point, I think that's something that probably the Board of Health would want to.
Yeah.
I agree.
Plus, I think the language in the preamble pretty much makes that point. You know, I mean, the preamble is pretty explicit that reduction with the goal ultimately of elimination. I think it's clear there. I don't think there's a lot of wordsmithing that's needed. You can literally take the language
Where
from
do
the
you
preamble.
see elimination? Oh, sorry, Mark.
If you read the
First
third
paragraph?
paragraph, the
Which
objective
paragraph?
of the regulations.
Third paragraph?
So, yeah.
Maybe it can be in the closing as well then, that this is a process, that it's a moving,
Mark is talking about the third paragraph.
oh, not this
Actual
last page?
regulation,
Yeah.
of the actual
Yeah,
regulation.
no, I'm talking about public appearance, not
Read the
the
regulation, they get it, right?
They're not going to read the regulation. The
come
public is, well, a lot of the public who are going to be at town meeting are going to be wanting to get up and make a big fuss. And so I think that part of what we need to do in our messaging is be aware that they passed a ban and that ban is not plausible or practical. And we hear you, this is a step towards it.
Okay. Well, I'll follow up on Mark's point on this one. I think
Yeah.
let's take these materials, let's give them to Lori, and have those folks coordinate with Barry and the health board as to
Indeed.
when to upload it, what to upload, how to do it, and take their direction from, because if the Board of Health votes it in approval Monday night, it's a health regulation, they should basically be steering the ship.
I agree.
With any help from us
And
that
if
they might
want
need.
help, we're happy to do it,
Yep.
There you go.
all right? Is everybody comfortable with that approach?
Could I ask one more question, Jamie? And that would be, I think that the press could be helpful with this when the time is right, and I would prompt a press release would be appropriate, and the timing on that is something that we might want to discuss.
We've discussed all this release with the IT department already, so.
Great, thanks, Barry.
That's,
And again, that's health and IT
Yep.
and communications team.
again, if anybody wants help with it, we'll help. But I think,
It's being planned, good. That's what I want to hear. Okay,
and it's really incumbent upon them, that's what they need to do.
good.
All right, so, let's see, well, let's get to the approval of the minutes of 8/20/2025. Everyone had a chance to take a look at them? Anyone have any questions, comments, suggested changes? It's all good, and
My only question is, should it include the attendance? Include the attendance.
no, let's not take attendance on that day.
Well, it was taken,
I understand.
provided, that's all.
Thank you, Jill, for doing the minutes.
Yeah, thank you, Jill. Now, you get a pass if you were absent that day, how's that?
I was the one absent, so.
You get a pass, you didn't,
Get a
I wasn't
pass.
calling you out. All right, motion to, anyone move to approve?
Move to approve.
Okay, second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. All right, I knew we would be relatively quick here. Does anyone else have any other comments or thoughts or anything else about what we're doing and where we're going from here?
Mr. Chairman, I think this is a good chance this will be our last meeting. And
Fine.
I would like to have one before like town meeting and stuff, just so we can make sure we're still,
okay,
and if we're gonna, because I would like to be in front of the town meeting, just not myself, but with maybe Jamie and Mary and I. Just because if we go in front of town meeting, there's gonna be a lot of people I would like to have backup.
okay. So you're going to be interested then in having a conversation about the messaging,
Yes.
about preparing information,
Yep.
and you think that that might be a suitable purpose for the next gathering of this group.
Yeah, just a little before this, just to say
I
what
don't
we
have any
got.
objection to it. I just wanted to make sure we're clear on if we are, you know, my sense, the bulk of our business is done, but those are very good points.
Yeah,
So,
just to tie everything up, and when we go into battle, I want to have everything ready.
going into battle. Yeah, I'm not sure we need to call it that. No, but there is
Well, the
clearly,
last one, I was at the last one, so.
no, I think there's a need to be able to explain what it is that's been done
Yep.
and why it's been done. And I think people need to be aware of the trickiness of the bylaw. Why abandon that bylaw? Why is that bylaw? Because that needs to be explained. And as Liz has mentioned, there are going to be people that'll be hearing a lot of this for the first time. So the extent to which there's some literature, some material, I think folks here in this group can be very helpful with that. And so it makes sense to have a meeting before town meeting, well before town meeting, so that if there's a discussion of a brochure or some helpful information that can be made available, there's plenty of time to put it together and print it. Does that make sense?
I agree 100%.
I might, if I may, Jamie, if it's okay. I know that there was also the concern that the ban discussion was closed a little bit before certain parties were heard from. So in keeping with the local businesses having been such strong participants, is there anything in light of your lineup of speakers, for instance, or materials that I think we want to make sure that these participants are very noted up front and center in terms of their willingness and efforts to try to make this go forward, as opposed to trying to block it.
What day is town meeting, if I might ask again?
It's the 19th of November.
Tuesday.
Okay, it's
Excuse me, wait a second, the
18th is
18th, wait a second, where is it?
Tuesday, the 18th.
Tuesday, the 18th, I think. Yeah, that sounds right.
The Tuesday before
Yes, the
that
Tuesday, the 18th.
is Veterans Day. So do you want to meet maybe a couple weeks before time? We're going to know a lot between now and then. I mean, really, the lead up to town meeting, it only takes maybe a couple weeks before town meeting. You're going to know the health board acted. It's going to go its 30 days. The campaign's going to be out there with social media, education. So I think we could be well in hand of what we need to know, maybe 10 days out before town meeting to convene at that point.
I would recommend that you convene in early October.
Early October. Fine.
Yeah, I would recommend, just given what I've heard today, I think that would make sense, because that's when you should begin to start having making sure that this group is in service to the health department, and we understand what it is they would like to see done. And as Liz said, there's going to be a need to sort of make sure the messages and the information is coordinated in some way. The last town meeting was very awkward on this topic, and we don't want to repeat that again. So I would suggest, Mr. Chair, that the group meet, in either, I know there's a Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples' Day weekend. Is that what we're referring to now?
13th.
The 13th. So you might want to, I would suggest, in the interest of just being cautious, maybe October 7th or that week, 8th or 9th in there. The 7th is a Tuesday.
7th works. Or, hold on, let's just look.
Stick with Wednesdays.
You've had luck with Wednesdays, so maybe you want to stick with Wednesdays.
Yeah, let's stick with the regular
I
time.
can't do Wednesday at 2:30 on the 8th, though. I'm already tied up.
Okay.
What about Tuesday then?
I could do Tuesday the 7th, if you want to do that at 2:30, with room availability.
Check with Mary Alice.
So 10, 7, 25, 2:30. I'm happy to discuss going to town meeting. I'm happy to talk at town meeting. I'm just not a resident, so I've got to get the moderator to just approve. And we can talk about that on that day. It's a
Exactly, those
simple
kinds of
request
things. Exactly.
to do that. But I agree that
And I think clearly it's important for the health board to be aware, the leadership of the health board to be aware that that's the kind of discussion we want to have, and they're certainly welcome to, we welcome and encourage their participation.
Yeah, we'll bring that up Monday night also.
So maybe communications department wants to show up too.
Yeah.
So the focus for that meeting can be communicating information regarding the article as well as the new regulations.
I agree. All right, 10/7, 2:30 PM, does that work for everybody?
Sounds good.
I'll send out a calendar invite once I confirm it with Mary Alice that the room's available.
Jamie, I can't make that date, but that's okay.
Right.
And I'm sure we'll be coordinating it, but one of the PR pieces that we did talk about was the show and tell of the plastics that we found so terrific. Thank you, Stop and Shop. And we wondered if we could orchestrate something like that to have that. And I'm speaking out of school, Mark, because I'm not the IT department or the health department, but it would be nice to have a Plastics 101 as part of the web presence. So,
It's already in there.
Yeah, so
Great.
Lori Sullivan and I had already talked about
excellent,
doing that.
excellent,
Like a
thank you.
video.
It's already in there.
Okay.
I'm not doing that. Draw the line. I'm not doing that. All right, anybody have anything else?
Monday night, 5 o'clock, in this room. Please, if you want to attend, I'd be more than happy to have you here, so.
Yep. All right,
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
You guys have it. All right. Thank you, everybody.